Hello and welcome to Retro Gaming Swede, and today we'll do something real special. We're gonna fix up a really bad and kind of beat up NES controller. So what you need is a screwdriver, a bunch of toothpicks, some Q-tips, and check so that the screwdriver actually fits the screws. I think it's a Phillips 1. And for this one I'm also going to change the rubber parts inside of the controller. So you start off with the actual removal of the screws, which will be done in just a second. And once you've removed all the screws, you can basically just lift up the back and take the innards out. And just as I thought, this controller is actually pretty dirty inside, so as you see, the rubber parts are all blackened, and for the A and B buttons it's just broken. The start and select buttons looks fine though, but the rubber part for the D-pad looks absolutely disgusting. So now it's time to just pull apart the different parts. Just tip out the D-pad and the buttons and put it in a tub of water with some dish soap. And just let it soak there for a little while. And now we move on to the probably most important part for the functionality of the controller, cleaning the electronic parts with some electronic cleaner, or normal IPA works too, but I use this electronic cleaner and some Q-tips and just rub it all over where the buttons are supposed to connect with the board. And as you see, you can get a lot of dirt off of there. And once you've done that, it's time to go back to the parts you let soak in the water. So you take it out of the water and scrub it down with a sponge. I know this one isn't going to be perfect, but it absolutely doesn't do any harm, right? Just try to scrub it down as much as possible and try to get rid of all the loose dirt that's on there and inside too. Yeah, this isn't going off. Then you just try to dry off as much excess water as possible so you don't have to wait too long to assemble it again. Then you can use a toothpick and a Q-tip to get into all of the hard to reach places, like the holes for the screws or the little edge on the inside of the controller. The screw holes are probably the dirtiest place on there right now, so a lot of stuff has a tendency to get stuck in there, as you see on the Q-tip. The front parts of the controller generally isn't as dirty as the back part, but the holes for the controllers tend to have a ton of dirt inside them. But a bit of soapy water and a Q-tip will get it all off. If there's something really hard to get to, you can always use the toothpick. And for the buttons, it's mostly the D-pad that has any real dirt on them. And now, once everything is clean and nice, you can just leave it for a while to dry. An hour or maybe 2 hours will absolutely be enough. And once everything is dry and clean and nice, you can just put it all together again. And this time I actually change out all the rubber parts inside it. You don't necessarily have to do this, you can just clean up the old ones, but this controller was pretty bad, so I decided to just put new stuff inside. And of course, if you have a beat up Master System controller, this technique works really well with those two. The innards are almost exactly the same. And when you put in the board, you should make sure that you align the cable at the right place. It's even marked out at the board, in the board. So, and then you press in the cable at the right spots too. That makes it last a lot longer. And once that's done, you can just put on the back and fasten the screws, and then you can play for hopefully a few years more. So this was my video on how to fix your faulty NES controller. If you like this kind of content, please leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you around.